Hello friends, welcome to KGS IAS English YouTube channel, and today we will discuss chapter number 6 of economic survey, that is agriculture and food management, raising productivity, securing income and ensuring. Friends, we had started this series of economic survey because economic survey is very important for prelims as well as for mains. And till date, we had discussed the 5 chapters of economic survey. This is chapter number 6. And this chapter is extremely important. The reason being, in UPSC mains as well as in UPSC prelims, agriculture is a very important chapter. So UPSC may ask direct question from this particular chapter, and as a result of that, we will discuss this particular chapter in very much detail. So let's discuss this. First of all, we all studied right in the school as well as in colleges why agriculture is so important for India. Because agriculture contribute 20% of our national income, and it provide 46.1% support to the workforce. So 46.1% of our workforce is dependent on agriculture. And you all are aware of this fact that still more than 50% of the India lives in the rural area, and that rural area is depending a lot on the agriculture and allied activities. So if you are attempting any kind of mains question, you can use these data that agriculture contribute 20% of the national income and it support 46.1% of the workforce. Now it's just not an economic sector, it also help in determining the food security. We all understand this fact that food security is very important for India. Availability, affordability, accessibility of food is extremely essential. So agriculture help us to determine this food security. It also shapes inflation. How it shapes the inflation? Because in CPI inflation, food has the highest weightage. So if there is any increase in the price of food inflation, because increase in the price of food in cost push inflation or demand pull inflation, both impacted the CPI inflation. And even the Monetary Policy Committee tries to control that inflation by increasing the repo rate, because if inflation targeting, that is 4% plus minus 2%, if any particular segment crosses that inflation target, or if inflation goes beyond 6%, then in that case it will create a major problem. So headline inflation is basically depending a lot on food prices. So that's why the food prices is very important. It will help to shape the inflation. Then it also drive rural demand. Recently, if you had seen in various newspaper articles as well as in different theories also, that rural demand is going hand in hand with urban demand. The gap between the rural demand and urban demand is keep on shrinking. As a reason of that, it also drives the rural demand. Then anchor inclusive growth. Faster inclusive growth depend a lot on agriculture because it provides the employment, and not only the farming activity, the allied activities also contribute a lot in that. So that is the reason why agriculture is extremely important. So economic resilience plus social stability plus nutritional stability, you can use this line as well, that economic resilience plus social stability plus nutritional security is all possible because of agriculture. So agriculture help in all of these factors. Then average growth, if we talk about from the last 5 years, the average growth is around 4.4%, whereas the decadal growth from 2016 till financial year 2025, it is around 4.45%, highest among the decades. So this particular slide is very important. You can directly use these lines in your mains GS paper 3 if there is any question come from agriculture part. Now, as everything has its own importance, it also brings the challenges. So the challenges of agriculture, we already knew these challenges, that it is still monsoon dependent, highly fragmented, small land holdings. Apart from that, irrigation remain uneven across the regions and crops. Many farmers still lack access to quality seeds and input. So even pre-harvest, even from sowing stage till post-harvesting stage, there are many problems. Problem regarding to land fertility, problem regarding to excessive use of fertilizer, problem regarding to the quality of seed availability, then lack of modern day technology. After that, post-harvest loss, lack of cold storages, lack of warehouses, lack of what we can say grievance redressal of farmers. These all are the major challenges that we knew right from our school days. So investment level in agriculture are relatively low, and even in the research part, if we talk about the research part, the investment in research is extremely low. when we talk about the agriculture. So investment level in agriculture are relatively low, and extension services often fail to reach farmers. Another critical issue related to agriculture is soil health. Because of over usage of fertilizer, the ideal ratio for NPK is 4:2:1, but India uses extreme over usage of fertilizer that also create the problem of land fertility. So government policies aim to increase fertilizer use, particularly urea subsidy, have led to excessive application of nitrogen based fertilizer in India. So these are the major challenges associated. Now, if we talk about the allied sectors, agriculture and its allied sectors, this is extremely important because right now UPSC also focusing a lot on these allied sectors. Agriculture pe already they had made very questions right from last 20-30 years. Now they are focusing on these allied sectors a lot. So livestock has grown at approximately 7.1%, while fisheries and aquaculture have grown at around 8.8%. And this animal rearing part is very important because in mains paper 3, there is a specific topic, economics of animal rearing. So, fishery sector, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Sah Yojana. Apart from that, these fishery sector government focus a lot on that because many people dependent on this fishery sector. So, this fishery sector support a lot of employment opportunities as well as it also promote food security. So, livestock, if we talk about the GVA, gross value added growth from financial year 2015 to financial year 2024, it is around 195%. The compounded annual growth rate is around, at current prices, is around 12.77%. Now the largest contributor to agri GVA growth, this livestock sector is now the largest contributor to agriculture gross value added growth. If we talk about the fishery and aquaculture, fish production increased to 140% between 2014 to 2025. Strong export orientation, employment intensive. So Indian agriculture is moving from grain centric to income centric. Do use these lines. When you write your mains answers, do use these lines that Indian agriculture is moving from grain centric to income centric. And we all knew that we had a target to double the income of farmers, and for doubling that farmers income, it is very much essential that the farmers need to diversify, farmers income need to enhance. Even in the export potential, the agriculture sector contribute a lot. So that's the reason this livestock and the fishery sector is extremely important. Food grain production. Now let's come to the core topic regarding to food grain production. If we talk about the food grain production, and if we talk about 2024-25, then in that case it is around 3577.3 LMT, which increase of 254.3 LMT on previous years. That's not ये डेटा अगर आपको याद रह जाए तो ठीक है, बट कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. ड्राइवर्स जो है ये हमें पता होने चाहिए. What are the drivers which support this food grain production? First is favorable monsoon. Because of favorable monsoon, food production had increased, and that is a major reason why we had inflation under that control target of 4% plus minus 2%. Then MSP assurance, government also assure MSP. Remember this thing, MSP is recommended by CACP. 22 crops के लिए MSP दी जाती है. FRP, fair and remunerative prices, is given for sugarcane. So total 23 basically. CACP recommend MSP. And CCEA, Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs, finally approved that, which is chaired by Prime Minister of India. So input and credit support through loans. So this all ensure national food security, buffer stock adequacy, and control of inflation. So all these things, food grain production is depending a lot on all these factors, and that's why they are very, very essential. If we talk about the horticulture, then again this horticulture segment is very much in demand, and right now the diversification in agriculture is done more in this horticulture part. So share in agriculture gross value added, that is 33%. Production is around 362 MT. Surpass food grain production. So horticulture currently had surpassed the food grain production. Now this is a prelims line. Might be you will see that prelims line that horticulture had surpassed food grain production, and that's true. Largest producer of dry onion, that is 25% of global output, and we are the second largest producer of fruits, vegetables, and potato. So why this horticulture matter? Because, and thanks to Operation Green Scheme, top to total, all these things help a lot in this horticulture part. Why horticulture matter? Because high value per unit land, shorter crop cycle, better nutrition, and strong export potential. These all are the factors which help to the development of horticulture sector. Then if we talk about the regional disparities in India, for rice, if we talk about, major producers like UP, West Bengal, and Telangana have yields below national average. Now, if we talk about why this regional disparity is important, because we need to understand that even when we talk about the overall diversification of agriculture, this regional disparity still persists in the yield segment as well. So if we talk about the rice, the major producers like UP, West Bengal, and Telangana have yield below national average. If we talk about pulses, they're highly climate sensitive, and India import a lot of pulses as well. Because of El Nino years, acreage is less and yield is also less. And in the La Nina years, when we have the good monsoon, the production increases. So lesson is climate resilience is central. One size fit all policy won't work. Why this is important, guys? Because the reason is the Indian agriculture monsoon dependence still is being so relevant. So whenever there is lack of monsoon or there is a drought like condition, the acreage and yield fall, and when we have good monsoon, the overall production enhances. Moving to the next part, state-led innovation. Now this is very important. What all innovations done by the state government for the agricultural development? The first one is land governance. Land governance is very important. Andhra Pradesh had done with drone survey, digital land titles, and reduce the disputes. So Andhra Pradesh has enhanced this overall land governance through drone surveys, digital land title, and reduce disputes. And even at the every central perspective also, Swamitva scheme, which help us in the 3D mapping of the land areas, demarcation of boundaries, all these drone mapping, all these parts help a lot in this perspective. Then water and markets, Telangana, Kaleshwaram, and Mission Kakatiya. That's extremely important. It will create a huge impact on the whole Indian economy, this Mission Kakatiya. Then MP, digital MSP procurement, digital agriculture, Karnataka's fruit platform, and Jharkhand Agri-Stack pilot. Agri-Stack is again very important. Agri-Stack means a kind of a common platform which include all those reforms measure related to agriculture. So Agri-Stack is a digital public infrastructure where all the information regarding to agriculture development, regarding to agriculture technology is aligned. So this is a state-led innovation in the agriculture sector. Now, apart from that, the government has adopted a multi-pronged approach for the following sectors, like input support. Input support means quality of seeds, quality of raw materials, quality fertilizers. Then technology adoption of latest modern technologies, adoption of all those technologies which will incentivize the production, which will enhance the research part also, which also promote like this drip irrigation techniques, precision farming, agrivoltaic farming. All these things will lead to technological adoption. Recently, Cropic platform, AI generated images will be generated of the agriculture part. Then market reforms, Enam platform, very important, that link whole India with one nation, one market, one agriculture market. This is the market reforms regarding to agriculture. Income support, PM Kisan help a lot, providing 6,000 rupees in 3 monthly installment through direct benefit transfer. Then insurance mechanism, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. All these things will promote this productivity improvement. So these interventions are implemented through mission mode programs. So the different kind of missions are implemented that will help in overall production improvement. Moving ahead, why productivity is the only sustainable path? Now that is very important. We all knew this fact that the population of India is huge. We all knew this fact that the land, the sown area The sown area is also limited. We also knew this fact that overusage of fertilizer, land degradation, groundwater problem, these are the major issues in context of agriculture. So there are many constraints. Out of those constraints, the only successful path or the only feasible path that is currently prevalent is productivity through sustainable ways. So land expansion is limited. You can't expand the land beyond a particular limit. Then water stress problem is there. Water problem, groundwater storage is issues, these are still a problem. Fragmented land holdings are there. So all these are the common problems that are not the problem of present time. These problems are right from the many years, and we all knew this fact that we even if we'll try a lot harder, we can only reduce the intensity of these problems, we cannot wipe them out. So what is the option available? So option available is we need to improve the yield, we need to enhance the cropping intensity, we need to do high value agriculture through sustainable farming, through agri diversification. So all these things will help us doubling the overall farmers income. So that's why the productivity is only the sustainable path. Now, there are few missions that are very important, and even in the prelims, the question can directly come from these missions. Even in the mains exam, you can write these missions because these missions and policy interventions are very important. The first is National Food Security and Nutrition Mission. National Food Security is a kind of an umbrella scheme which focusing a lot in the development part, covering more than 65%, around 67% of population, 75% of rural population, 50% of the urban population. So it's that National Food Security Mission is very important for getting 3 rupees kg rice, 2 rupees kg wheat, 1 rupees kg coarse grain, 35 kg availability of food grain under Antodaya Anna Yojana. This is very, very important. So National Food Security Act, and even after that, it also covered the ICDS scheme, Poshan Abhiyan. It focused on One Nation, One Ration Card, providing maternity benefit as well. So this National Food Security is very important. And Nutrition Mission through Poshan Abhiyan, it focused on improving productivity across major crop through the use of technology, high yielding variety, and better management practice. Then National Mission on Edible Oil, because we import this edible oil a lot. So National Mission on Edible Oil aim to reduce import dependency by enhancing domestic production of oil seeds and oil palm. We also focus through PM Asha scheme regarding this oil seeds part. Similarly, the Mission for Self-Reliance in Pulses, again under the PM Asha scheme, seek to enhance productivity and reduce import. So these initiatives have led to significant improvement in oilseeds production. Over the past decade, the area under oilseeds has increased by more than 18% and production by nearly 55%. So area under the oilseed production increased by 18% and the overall production has increased by 55% with the productivity of about 31%. So the overall availability of domestic availability of edible oil has increased and import dependency has decreased. Then mission mode productivity intervention, pulses mission. Pulses is very important because ये बात हम सब जानते हैं कि पूरे इंडिया में पल्सेस का कंजम्पशन बहुत ज़्यादा है और इंडिया में जो पल्सेस का प्रोडक्शन है वो बहुत लिमिटेड स्टेट्स में है, मध्य प्रदेश, महाराष्ट्र, कुछ सम पार्ट्स ऑफ राजस्थान. सो पल्सेस का इंपोर्ट बहुत होता है. Now the pulses mission is beyond self-sufficiency. Why pulses are so special? First, they'll protein security. They'll give protein security, help in nitrogen fixation, climate resilient. But the problem is the prices are very volatile. Then they are also sensitive to climate vagaries. So mission goal is to raise the yield of pulses, to stabilize its prices, and to reduce the overall import dependency. So that's why this mission mode productivity intervention for pulses are very, very, very important. Moving ahead, then edible oil mission, if we talk about, the oilseed area increased by 18%, production increased by 55%, productivity increased by 31%. So edible oil mission, we had enhances the oilseed area by around 18%, production we had increased by 55%, productivity is increased by 31%, but import share fall from 63% to 53%. India's only problem is we still import 55 to 60% of edible oil and they are very much vulnerable to global price shock. So if there is any kind of global price shock happen, it directly impact the edible oils import. This is again, you need not remember these facts, but you just need to remember that India, this is very important, that India import 55 to 60% of edible oil. Now, for edible oil missions, we have the different scheme like it's NMEOOS, oilseed mission program, focusing on mustard, soybean, groundnut, and sunflower. Approach area expansion. We need to enhance the national mission on edible oils. This is basically the scheme. So, focus on area expansion, edible oil yield improvement, seed replacement, and technology transfer. So, oil palm mission. This is very important. What is first is oilseed mission and another is oil palm mission, and oilseed scheme is so much important that under the PM Asha we specifically focus on three particular part: pulses, oilseeds, and copra. So this oil palm mission is to increase the highest oil yield per hectare, long term supply stability. But the major problem associated with oilseed palm mission, or oil palm mission, is the demand for water is very high, then the long gestation period, and environment sensitivity. So guys, if any kind of question come regarding to edible oil, how you should write that answer? So first of all, you should mention that the overall import dependence of edible oil has enhanced. The import is 55 to 60% of edible oil, and if there is any change in the global supply chain, it directly impacted the cost push inflation. So even if you can write some part that import share has fallen from 63 to 56%, India has also enhances the production. And if any kind of in that specific particular question, if they had asked you what are the missions that are launched by government for edible oil, you can specify that oilseed mission focusing on national mission on edible oil through oilseed mission focusing on mustard, soybean, groundwater, and sunflower. Then apart from that, oil palm mission focusing on enhancing the oil yield per hectare, focusing also on long term supply stability. But the major issues is water demand is high, gestation period is long, and environment sensitivity is a major problem. Then a very important component, that is ethanol maize trade-off. Ethanol pricing actually favors a lot to maize. Maize yield improves and acreage shift from pulses टू ऑयल सीड्स एंड मिलेट. तो देखिए ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट यहाँ पर यह है कि इथेनॉल प्राइसिंग जो है वो मेज को बहुत फेवर करता है. मेज यील्ड्स इंप्रूव्ड, एकरेज जो है वो शिफ्ट हुआ है, शिफ्टिंग फ्रॉम पल्सेस, ऑयल सीड्स एंड मिलेट. बट द प्रॉब्लम इज, बट इससे प्रॉब्लम क्या होगा, फूड सिक्योरिटी का प्रॉब्लम आ जाएगा. यानी कि मेज का प्रोडक्शन हम एनहांस कर रहे हैं, वो एथेनॉल उससे जनरेट हो रहा है, दैट्स गुड थिंग. बट द प्रॉब्लम इज इफ वी आर नॉट ग्रोइंग दीज पल्सेस, ऑयल सीड्स एंड मिलेट मोर, इट विल क्रिएट द फूड सिक्योरिटी डिस्टॉर्शन. It will also lead to nutritional imbalance and also increases the import dependency. So on a positive note, we are saying that ethanol production has increased, but on the negative side, if we are producing more of maize, it creates the problem of food security. It also led to nutritional imbalance and also having higher import dependence for pulses and oils. Then seeds. Agriculture productivity or yield depends a lot on the quality of seeds. The seed replacement rate in India is very low. That's the reason government also focusing a lot on planning a seed bill that will lead to the better productivity of seeds. Everything should be mentioned on that, like what is the water usage, or how much fertilizer should be used, what are the liabilities of the people who are giving these seeds. So seed gap. The problem is low seed replacement rate, dependence on farm saved seed, intervention. There are some different kind of intervention like submission on seeds, seed village should be set up, national mission on high yielding seeds. So you can use these kind of things when you write the answer. Like the problem regarding to seed is there is low seed replacement rate, dependence on farm saved seed. For promoting these seeds, we have the different missions for seed like seed village, national mission on high yield variety seeds. Now, what are the way forward? We need to promote the strong extension, farmer producer organization, and PACS, primary agriculture credit societies involvement should be enhanced, and farmers demonstrations model should be used. Now, this is about the in general basics of agriculture. Now let's move towards the irrigation and water use efficiency, because this component is again very important. In our main syllabus, there is particular topic of irrigation is mentioned. So irrigation and water use efficiency, irrigated area enhanced from 41.7% to 55.8%. Irrigation coverage has improved over the year, but it remains uneven across the region. Some states have well-developed irrigation system, while others rely heavily on water rain-fed agriculture. So government has taken several initiatives like micro irrigation programs, large scale irrigation project, watershed development programs. So this is what initiatives government had taken for promoting irrigation systems. Micro irrigation, which include drip and sprinkler system, very important right now. Regarding to precision farming, drip irrigation, this is very important. So micro irrigation include drip and sprinkler system, particularly important for improving water use efficiency. They deliver directly the water into the roots, which reduce the wastage. And recently, not only this and micro drip irrigation, right now we are focusing on this sprinkler a lot, and apart from that, pitcher technique, bubbler techniques, these all are the part of this micro irrigation only. However, adoption of micro irrigation remain limited due to high initial cost and lack of awareness. Groundwater play an important role, but its over extraction create the major problem. Arsenic problem हो जाता है water में. So in several regions, groundwater level are declining rapidly, leading to long term sustainability issue. Then soil health and fertilizer distortion. NPK ratio, the ideal NPK ratio is 4:2:1, but let's see, this is 11:4:1 currently that is going in India. The reason is excessive urea use. Urea prices are still controlled by the government. So excessive urea use, soil carbon decline, falling fertilizer response. And government is focusing a lot on neem coated urea. By coating urea with neem, that will reduce the dissolution of nitrogen into the soil, and even that urea cannot be used for other purposes. Otherwise, that urea can be used for manufacturing of plastic, for animal fodder as well. Then urea gold, that is coating of urea with sulfur, which further reduces the dissolution process of nitrogen, and as well as it also fulfills the requirement of land of the sulfur requirement, which is currently very low in our Indian soil. So scheme through soil health card, proper testing of soil mapping, digital soil database. Soil health card is again important, was introduced to address this issue. Under this scheme, farmer receive information about the nutrient status of their soil and recommend appropriate fertilizer use. Organic farming, we also focusing a lot on organic farming. Can you guys know what is the difference between the organic farming and natural farming? Organic farming certification is necessary, but for natural farming there is no such certification is required. Natural farming has the 4 spiritual wheels of farming, that is Bij Mitra, Jeev Mitra, mulching, and apart from that, the soil aeration techniques. So organic farming and the use of biofertilizer are being promoted. Vipasa technique in that 4 wheels of spiritual farming: Bij Mitra, Jeev Mitra, mulching, and Vipasa. So organic farming and the use of biofertilizer are being promoted as sustainable alternative. These practices improve soil health and reduce dependence on chemical input. Then agriculture credit. Agriculture credit is again a major issue that is always remain in the news. Why agriculture credit is quite essential? Because to get the loans, whether it is short-term loan, medium-term loan, or long-term loan, farmers need different perspective. If he need fertilizer, seeds, he need short-term fund requirement. For medium-term requirement also he need loans. For Kisan Credit Card is a pilot scheme for that. So under the Kisan Credit Card, 7.7 crore accounts had been opened. So institutional credit, that is through formal sources provided by bank and financial institutions, has increased, reducing the overall dependence on informal sources such as money lenders. Government has introduced several schemes to improve access to credit, including interest subvention scheme. Very important. Under the interest subvention scheme, if they are paying that loans interest timely basis, the government can reduce that interest amount, and even the even under that time period is being reduced. Kisan Credit Card, priority sector lending, that is must for the commercial bank. So these initiatives have made credit more affordable and accessible. Then non-institutional credit, that is through money lenders and through other non-formal sources, it decreased to 23%. The issues are regional imbalances, credit not aligned with cropped area. So government try to focus on reforms through Kisan Rin portal and duplicate claim detection. Agriculture mechanization, that is using of machines in agriculture. So mechanization play an important role in improving productivity and reducing labor dependency. What is the meaning of agriculture mechanization? That is the use of machinery such as tractor, harvester and irrigation equipment. So in India, mechanization level is comparatively low because the land holdings are small, which limit the use of large machine. To address this, government promote custom hiring center, subsidies for farm equipment and promoting small scale machinery. So mechanization will improve overall efficiency, reduce labor cost and increase timeliness of operation. Talking about the livestock and dairy sector, very crucial and very important. White Revolution 2.0. Then apart from that, Gokul Grams, Gokul Mission, Gopala app, all these things are regarding to livestock and dairy sector. So the livestock sector has emerged as major contributor to agriculture growth. First of all, it provides the nutrition. Then it provides a stable source of income and reduce dependency. It's an alternative kind of income sources. So India is one of the largest producer of milk in the world and dairy farming play an important role in that. So livestock contribute to nutrition through the supply of milk, meat and egg. This sector has shown strong growth because of improving breeding practice, better veterinary service and expansion of dairy infrastructure. Then fishery and aquaculture, again very important, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Sahay Yojana. Fishery is the fastest growing segment within agriculture. It provides employment, export earning and nutrition benefit. So government focusing a scheme on promoting fishery, including infrastructure development through better nets, better boats, cold storages. Apart from that, fish farmer producer organization is being created and value chain improvement. So why this sector has a significant potential of growth? Because of enhancing domestic demand, continuous export opportunities and technological advancement. So what are the market reforms for that? ENAM is being connected through that. So efficient market are essential for ensuring that farmer receive fair prices. Government introduced ENAM, improvement in mandi infrastructure and promotion of FPOs, farmer producer organization, which all led to improved price discovery, reduce intermediaries and increase market access. Then marketing and infrastructure, as I mentioned that agriculture marketing is very important because if the farmer produces a particular crop and there is no sufficient market for his crop, then in that case the losses keep on increasing. So agriculture marketing infrastructure include storage, warehouse and processing. For that we have agriculture infrastructure fund as well, which is a credit link incentive scheme to attract private and cooperative investment in agri infra, and agriculture infrastructure helps a lot in overall development of agriculture, whether it is creating proper supply chains, creating better infrastructure, post harvest losses reduction. All these are the tools under the agriculture infrastructure. So key feature is long term loans, interest subvention and credit guarantee. ENAM provide support to 1.79 crore farmers, connecting 1522 mandis. Digital Agri Mission through Agri Stack, very important. It's a tool of agriculture, digital public infrastructure, connecting all the agriculture parts into the one scheme. Then DSS and digital public infrastructure for agriculture. Price and income support, MSP, as I mentioned, given for 22 crops and FRPs for sugarcane. CACP recommend it. So MSP is 1.2 times of A2 plus FL cost. A2 cost is basic cost, like cost of what we can say, cost of seed, cost of fertilizer, this electricity cost. This is all A2 cost. FL cost is imputed family labor cost. So 1.5 times of A2 plus FL cost. So MSP is given for 22 crops and FRP for sugarcane. PM Kisan 6,000 rupees is given through the income transfer. PM Kisan Mandhan Yojana, that is pension scheme for old age income security and reduce vulnerability. The overall purpose is to enhance income stability and lead investment confidence. Then for crop insurance, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, around 4.19 crore farmers getting registered under that. 1.9 lakh crore claims had been given since launch. So technological reforms are also there for crop insurance, like Yes Tech, yield estimation system using technology which replace manual crop cutting experiment. So Yes Tech is important, that can be asked in prelims. Like what is Yes Tech platform? It's a yield estimation system using technology which replaces manual crop cutting experiment. This Yes Tech platform replace manual crop cutting experiment. The uses are, it uses the remote sensing, satellite images, and AI based models are used. Then DG claim. Under the DG claim, the claims are fastly settled. It reducing the disputes and also enhances the transparency. With the use of drones and geotagging, minimize the moral hazards and improve the accuracy also. Then moving towards the sustainable farming, economic sustainability is farming must be profitable, not subsidy dependent. Guys, this is what I usually talk even in my classes also, that freebie culture and all these like loan waiving and all these problems will handle that particular problem. But in long run, if we want that our farmers income should enhance, they should become independent, then we should focus more on sustainable and R&D part. So input cost must fall and income volatility must get reduced. Ecological sustainability can be attained through soil health regeneration, better water efficiency, reduce chemical loads or reduce overusage of chemicals, and intergenerational sustainability through better productivity, which should not destroy tomorrow's capacity. Then moving towards the natural farming, as I mentioned, for natural farming, there is no as such certification is required. It includes 4 wheels of spiritual farming, Bij Mitra, Jeev Mitra. Apart from that, this mulching and mulching, all the and Vipasa. So natural farming refers to farming system that avoids synthetic fertilizer and pesticide, rely on farm biological input, and emphasize soil microbiology and natural nutrient cycle. But the problem with natural farming is input availability is the major issue, because under the natural farming, no external source can be used. It should use all those things which are available naturally. Then knowledge gap persists, market linkage is the issue because of lack of certification, and scale problem is also there. So this is natural farming also create the major issue over here. So what are the government schemes to promote sustainable and natural farming? First is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. The objective is to promote organic farming through cluster based approach. Then cluster size is around 50 hectare, where financial support is provided for organic input, certification, training, and branding. Then mission organic value chain development for northeast region. Why northeast should be focused, and especially right now Sikkim is considered as the first organic state of the world. So low chemical usage historically, ecologically fragile region, and high export potential. So it cover entire value chain from production, processing, storage, marketing, and export certification through this particular scheme. Then national mission on natural farming, focusing on farm inputs, that is Jeev Mitra, Bij Mitra, low cow based formulation, farmer training and demonstration should be focused. It should also focus on cluster based adoption, farm field schools, and capacity building over cash subsidy. Now let's talk about the food processing sector. This is also mentioned in our syllabus, and food processing is what we can say a sunrise sector. Contribute a lot in gross value added, contribute a lot in employment, contribute a lot in export. Upstream and downstream are the two sides of a same coin. So it contributes 13% of the organized manufacturing employment, one of the largest employment generator in manufacturing, high employment elasticity. That means it creates more jobs per unit of investment. But the problem is India process less than 10% of its agriculture output. Compared to US, it is 65 to 70% and China 30 to 35%. The problems are same: inadequate storage, poor cold chain, fragmented logistic. So India export raw commodity, branding is weak, and farmer doesn't capture the value. Government also focuses on this food processing through Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, that is creating end-to-end infrastructure for food processing by creating mega food parks so that food production can be enhanced, integrated cold chain so that post-harvest loss should reduce, agro processing clusters, food testing labs should also be set up. So it will help to reduce overall logistic cost, and that is our target as well, to reduce the logistic cost to around 7 to 8% of GDP, bring processing closer to farms so that the overall cost of transportation and the perishable goods loss will get reduced, and create economies of scale, that is less cost. That again, that PLI scheme is for food processing industry as well, because food processing industries suffer a lot from low scale, thin margin, weak branding. So PLI promote incentives through better branding, processed food export, and value added segment through incremental sale, focusing on ready to eat, marine products, fruits and vegetable, and millet based product, and that is Shri An. Then Prime Minister Micro Food Processing Enterprises, Pradhan Mantri Micro Food Processing Enterprises, focusing on tiny informal units, low technology units, no branding, and no access to credit. These are the major problems. So it provides the solution through formal scheme so that they will get the loan on a timely basis and through formal sources, credit linked subsidy so that they should not have any problem regarding, banks should not have any problem regarding to giving the loans, branding and marketing support, and promoting one district, one product so that even the local district products should get good scale and export. So ODOP build local specialization, encourage cluster development, and improve scale without corporatization. Moving ahead, then the food management system through procurement, storage, and distribution. This is again very important. If you see the main syllabus, it include that storage and distribution and marketing part. So India's food management is one of the largest in the world. It is designed to achieve two main objectives, that is ensuring food security for the population and providing price support to the farmers. अब चीज क्या है कि जो हमारा सिस्टम है वो 3 कंपोनेंट्स पे काम करता है. पहला, food grains procurement, then storage and buffer stock management through distribution through PDS through ration shops as well. The government procure food grain, mainly rice and wheat at MSP. This procurement is carried primarily by FCI with state agencies. Now, what is the concept of open-ended procurement? Open-ended procurement means that government purchase all quantity offered by farmer at MSP, but the issue is that that quality product should be there, but provide they meet quality standards. This is very important. गवर्नमेंट एमएसपी पे सब चीजें ले लेंगी लेकिन क्वालिटी जो बोली गई है वही होनी चाहिए. दिस एंश्योर दैट फार्मर हैव गारंटीड बायर फॉर देयर प्रोड्यूस. So once procured food grains are stored in warehouses and maintained as a buffer stock. These stocks are then distributed to beneficiaries under the PDS system. Buffer stock are the reserves of food grain maintained by government to ensure food security and price stability. They ensure that food is available during the time of storage, such as drought or crop failure. They help to stabilize the price and they support the functioning of PDS as well. So government set minimum norm of buffer stock that must be maintained at different time of the year so that there should not be any kind of shortage. So excessive shortage also create problem. If there is excessive shortage, it creates several challenges like storage cost increase, spoilage and inefficiencies there. Managing large inventories again creating a lot of pressure on fiscal resources. Then what is the role of FCI? FCI play an important role in the food management. It is responsible for procurement, storage, movement, and distribution of food grain. Even FCI ensure that food grains are transported from surplus region to deficit regions. It also manages the buffer stock and supply food grains to states. Now, the FCI is being criticized for its inefficiency because of high storage cost, leakage, and logistic challenges. Reforms are needed to improve the overall efficiency and challenges. Talking about the PDS, PDS is popularly known through National Food Security Act. So NFSA focusing on 2/3 of India's population, where the beneficiary receive rice at 3 rupees per kg, wheat 2 rupees per kg, and coarse grain at 1 rupees per kg. Under the Antyodaya Ann Yojana, 35 kg is given free of cost. So the difference between the economic cost of food grain, that is procurement plus storage, and the issue price is borne by government as food subsidy. This is very important line. So the problem with PDS system is it also enhances the fiscal burden, but this is very important for overall food security, especially for vulnerable section. So how PDS system is being reformed? This is reformed through better digitalization, better Aadhaar linkages. If we have better digitalization, if we have proper Aadhaar linkages, it also promote the overall transparency. Direct benefit transfers also help to reduce the leakages and it improve the efficiency part also. But the challenge is there are many ghost beneficiaries. So it's essential to target the beneficiaries and ensuring the quality in distribution part. Then moving towards the next part, that is climate change and agriculture, and that is the major hurdle and the biggest issue or the biggest problem in agriculture. So climate change poses a significant risk to agriculture, with rising temperature, changing rainfall pattern, extreme weather event affect the crop productivity. Heat stress sometimes are critical under the growth stage, can reduce yields. Irregular rainfall bring drought and flood, disrupting agriculture cycle. Sometimes because of excessive rainfall during the harvesting stage, whole crops get damaged. So increasing frequency of climate shock make agriculture more uncertain and risky. So what we need to focus? We need to focus on drought resistant crop variety. We also need to focus on improved irrigation system. We need to do crop diversification and better weather forecasting. So conclusion, if we talk about what is the conclusion of this whole chapter, India's agriculture is right now is at critical juncture. So critical juncture means we have achieved stable growth, demonstrated resilience, but the structural challenges keep on continuously bothering us. We are transiting ourselves from traditional farming to more diversified farming by focusing on horticulture, by focusing on food processing sector, and with the aim to increase the income and improving sustainability. But the problem is still persisting. Low productivity, distorted incentive, environment issues, and climate risk must be addressed. Food security is a prima facie burden, but we also need to focus on reducing fiscal burden. We need to focusing on creating the policies to related to fertilizer procurement and improve the cropping pattern that should be focusing towards the sustainability. So overall, we need to focus on diversification, sustainability, balanced policy framework, which should be beneficial for farmers as well as for the overall consumers. So this is regarding to the agriculture part, friends. Let's discuss some of the questions related to it. Let's discuss some of the questions related to agriculture. Consider the following statement. Statement 1. In India, improving agriculture productivity is considered the most sustainable way to increase farmers' income. That's true. The more the agriculture productivity enhances, it will lead to more sustainable and if that too with sustainable manner, it will enhances the farmers income. The reason is we all knew that we had a target to double the farmers income, and to double that farmers income we need to do expansion, we need to do diversification, we need to enhance the productivity, and that through sustainable manner. Apart from that, we should also focus on soil productivity, soil health, easy availability of credit, enhancing the awareness of the farmers, also promoting the better agriculture marketing, better transportation, post harvest infrastructure. All these things are quite essential. So statement 1 is true. Statement 2. Expansion of cultivated land in India is severely constrained due to land fragmentation and resource limitation. That's again correct. Expansion of cultivated land in India is fragmented. The reason behind that is because of land fragmentation and resource limitation. We have fragmented land. As a result of that per hectare availability of land is low. As a result of that, extensive commercial farming is not done at a mass level. Whatever the farmers are producing in general, they're consuming it by themselves. So as a result of that, this is again a major problem. Water stress and declining soil health limit the scope for increasing output through input intensification alone. That's again a major issue. Water stress, extensive usage of groundwater, excessive usage of fertilizer, not fulfilling the ideal ratio of NPK. As a result of that, land fertility deteriorated. Apart from that, water stress, if you are pulling a lot of water through groundwater, then also the water availability at the ground level is limited. Then it also enhances the arsenic content. So all three statements are correct, and 2 and 3 is explaining 1 also. The right answer is A. Moving to question number 2. Consider the following statement regarding allied sector. Fisheries is the fastest growing agriculture subsector. That's true. Livestock has become the largest contributor to agriculture GVA growth. That's also true. Remember friends, there's a difference between fastest growing and largest sector. Most of the students might get confused that fastest growing is the largest contributor to agriculture GVA also. No. Fishery sector grow by 8.8% and livestock sector grow by 7.1%. So fishery sector is the fastest growing sector. That's true. But if we count the overall contribution in GVA, the livestock sector contribution is more in that. So that's why second is also correct. Fisheries growth rate is lower than livestock growth rate. No, this is reverse. Livestock growth rate is lower than fishery growth. Fishery growth is around fishery growth rate in economy. In fishery growth, well, the fishery sector's growth in economy is around 8.8%, whereas livestock growth livestock growth is around 7.1%. So fastest growing agriculture subsector, I am talking about the growth rate. I am talking about the growth rate. So fisheries sector growth rate is around 8.8% and livestock is 7.1. So this is wrong statement. Right statement is 1 and 2 only. Moving to third question, with reference to fertilizer used in India, consider the following statement. The ideal NPK ratio has improved in recent years. No, it is even getting worse. Ideal is 4:2:1. But in India, it's using a lot. We are using a lot of fertilizers. So this is wrong. Excess use of urea has led to soil degradation. This is true. Soil health card scheme provide crop insurance. No, soil health card is the report card of the soil. It talk about where are the deficiencies, what is the status of soil, whether it is fertile or not, what are the macro and micronutrients we are lacking in the soil. So it's not talking about the crop insurance. Crop insurance is under Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. So this is wrong. Question is asking about incorrect. So C, 2 and 3 are incorrect here. Question number 4. Consider the following statement regarding India's food management. Open-ended procurement means the government procure only a fixed quantity of grain. No, open-ended procurement means government can procure n number of quantity, but the only criteria is that product should be of that quality which is decided between the farmer and the government. So this is wrong. Buffer stock increase the fiscal burden. Excessive. This is true, because you need to maintain that, cost of maintaining, cost of keeping them. PDS issue price is lower to economic cost. That's true. PDS issue price is lower to economic cost. The reason being we are providing it to the those section which needed it most. So 2 and 3 are correct. Again, C, 2 and 3 are the right ones. Then we have match the pair. National Mission on Edible Oil. Promotion of oil palm cultivation to reduce import dependence. True. Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana for organic farming. Promotion of natural farming through cluster based. No, it is for organic farming. ये organic farming के लिए है. That is for organic farming. ये organic farming के लिए है, not for natural farming. Pradhan Mantri formalization of micro food processing enterprise. Promotion of large scale. No, for micro. This is wrong. So 1 only is the correct statement. So friends, that's all in this particular chapter regarding to agriculture. I hope you all like this chapter number 6 of agriculture of economic survey. Very important chapter for both prelims and mains. And this chapter is relevant not only for this year's prelims but as well as for mains as well. So if you are making notes, make it in such a detailed manner that it should cover both prelims and mains. If you all like this video, please mention in the comment, do subscribe to our channel. And apart from that, if you hadn't watched the lecture number 1 to lecture number 5, do watch that and then watch lecture number 6. Thank you and God bless you all.